As long as he moves, like... Oh, going for the Raven. Snipes the Raven. Very nice there by Lau. And as long as he's careful and he isn't caught unsieged, I think Lau can push Gomas all the way back to his base. And interesting little concentration going on here. The command center giving vision. And a slow push through the middle. So although Gomas is, you know, quite a way ahead in supply, you can see this just the sight vision helping quite a lot. Lau is also 1-1 on his tanks, whereas Gomas has just been going for the infantry upgrades. Kind of Marine King Prime-ish. Oh, one poor Marine. Here's the drop. Here's finally the drop. But these Vikings coming over here, they're landing. It's interesting enough, and Lau is supply blocked. And oh dear. Missile turret manages to kill the medevac, which means the Marines are going to die. They do take out quite a few SCVs though, but I mean, at this point, well, Gomas taking a beating down here. The planetary fortress falls almost instantly because of these very upgraded, very well positioned tanks, I'd say. And I think Gomas is pretty much at a loss of what to do right here. He can't really deny this third of Lau. So what can he do? I mean, he can't push in the front. He's just so marine heavy. I mean, he can try. He might feel he has to, but at the same time, he has the map. And another little drop going on here, but these blue flame Hellions and sieged up tanks will deal with that quite handily. So yeah, Gomas is still 40 supply ahead, but unable to use it really. Lau being the aggressor now, pushing down the left-hand side. Lots of Hellions, lots of tanks. He's left with quite a few tanks at the top, so if Gomas was to push there, he'd feel a lot of pain. But these supply depots are going to go down, and there's very little Gomas can do. Ah, here we go. Big push in from front. He pushes in. Marines take a lot of damage, then he sieges up. And wow, look at Lau's tanks just get absolutely annihilated. This has just been blown wide open by Gomas. Reinforcement tanks are coming down. These were up there just to defend from the drop. There is a medevac there, but it doesn't have anything in it. Tanks on the high ground doing quite a number of damage, taking down 2 more tanks. But this is the position he needs. He just inside of that round and taking that command center. But Lau himself is pushing down the bottom, and there's very little Gomas can do about it. He has nothing at home. His factories were at the front, and okay, there are a couple at the back, but SCVs pulled by Lau. He needs to take this out, and he landed Vikings on, and he is going to take out Gomas' force there. He lost a ton of SCVs, but economy is at the back of their minds right now. This is the main problem for Gomas. What can he do about this? There's just so many Hellions that his Marines cannot do a thing, and Gomas' supply is skyrocketing. Small push out here. The blue flame Hellions do get caught by a big bunch, so they're not going to be able to threaten this base just yet. And Gomas is relocating. It's pretty interesting. The Hellions are going to see all the buildings moving. Actually, that's pretty interesting. Problem is, he's going to lose all his supply though if he just abandons this base. And Lau has a second and a third, and is in a very commanding position. I mean, he's ahead in upgrades. He's ahead in air superiority, and he's now ahead in harvesters because Gomas couldn't quite run them all the way. And wow, he loses a bunch of SCVs there. I wouldn't be surprised if Gomas just called it here actually. I mean, Lau is now uncontained. Yeah, you have to be wondering really, was Marine Heavy so good for containing in the first place because he couldn't really push the agenda, and Lau was relatively unthreatened. And then when he pushed out, he had the Viking numbers and he had the upgrades on the tanks. Last ditch effort by Gomas, pulling the SCVs, pulling the bio, stimming up, trying to kill the tanks, but it's just not enough. And although Lau lost a few tanks, he still has 5. And Lau cannot reinforce from over here. Some interesting play with drops going on, trying to get some splash damage on the tanks. It's doing quite well. The presence of the blue flame Hellions makes it slightly less effective than it could have been. But here is the slow push up by Lau with the tanks. Slightly reminiscent to last game, we find ourselves in a situation where Gomas has this bio that isn't that much more upgraded than the tanks. So the tanks do very, very efficient damage against the bio. And interesting, they're getting in range. That was a pretty good opportunity, to be honest, to snipe some sea strengths. Pulling the SCVs, here we go, last ditch. But there are a lot of mortars there actually, we should be able to clean this up. And wow, look how fast those tanks go down. 3 from Hellions come up, but they don't do much against mortars on at all. And he does clean that up. Siege up by Lau, and these stimmed mortars, they're just too low. They stim again and evaporate really. 36 supply for Gomas, 111 for Lau. I'm losing my voice. Let's take a look at the economy tab. 14 versus 47. Yeah. And Gomas lost his orbital commands. So it won't be long. I expect Lau to push through the middle fairly soon. He does still have the air advantage, still has the tank advantage, still has the advantage of upgrades on the tank. Cute little drop there. Picking them up when they take damage. Gonna come harass this mineral line slightly, but it's just an afterthought because this is where the main problem is. There is a tank on this bridge taking a couple of free shots. Here's the siege up though. Mortars didn't quite take advantage of the moving so far while unsieging. And now it's pushing up the left hand side. Not much Gomas can do about it. He's got some mortars. He hasn't got many SCVs to pull anymore. And here come the mortars. Last ditch attempts. They don't get very far, I'm afraid. Good game called by Gomas, and Lau is through to the finals.